Not yet. Great, losing. Just dwindling. We're just. What's up? Welcome back to the channel, you guys. It's been a while. Has it been a while? We're inside this time. Please. No one's in the room yet. I'll do a sound check. We found the website. It's called Forgotten Books. And basically it's got all your forces and how to use them. It's got the Book of Enoch. It has a whole bunch of wonderful reads, all in public domain, which means we can read them on the channel and not get hit with copyright claims. Right now, I found a book called, on that website, is Our Story of Atlantis, written down for the Hermetic Brotherhood and Sisterhood, because we're expanding these days. Please let me know if we're having audio issues or something. I didn't do too many sound checks before we got started. I just wanted to come on and read this cool little poem called Atlantean Memories, out of this book titled Our Story of Atlantis, written down for the Hermetic Brotherhood by a gentleman named Phelon / William P. Hermetic book concern, published by the Black Cat Press in 1903, San Francisco, California. Nice. Duke of Union. Okay, cool. So welcome everyone to the channel. Lemuria, Richie, good sir, how's it going? Elizabeth, Jaded. Richie hasn't said mic level up a few clicks. We can do that. We can bring the mic a hair closer. Gain has been turned up a little bit, so hopefully nothing's going crazy. Maybe we'll get some jam in. I didn't realize how crispy the piano's coming in the background. Maybe we might have to get a little jam session in. Dope, Michael, Jada Gems. All right, we're gonna get right into it. Sisterhood, Elizabeth, what up? I would pull a card for you, Elizabeth. I know you always want me to pull cards for you, but I'm not in the den right now. I'm in the music. I'm in the music jam room, and let's get right into it. Sound clear? Okay. If anything changes, thank you so much, Richie, for the help. Just let me know. Okay, we're gonna read this. It's a poem. I didn't read the whole thing first, like I should have. Probably should have. If I stumble through it, my bad, but I don't think I could. You know, our reading game has been on point these past couple years. So we shall. I'll give you a link. Oh, whoops, wrong button. If you want to follow along, it's right here. Check the comment box over here, and you will see a link to the photocopy of the book that is Atlantean Memories. Just got the Hermetic Tarot deck. Nice, that's what I use. Okay, cool. Here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, we are going to read an excerpt from Our Story of Atlantis. It's a poem. It's called Atlantean Memories. I think Atlas hears us. He might be coming in. It's funny because we named our son Atlas, who was the king of Atlantis. No. Oh, man. What are you doing, my love? I was just about to start reading. What are you eating? Oh, man. There's no... Come on, go, mama. Yeah, get out of here with your crunchy bag. Go and hang out in the living room. Hop, skip, master. Close the door, please. Thank you so much, my love. Thank you. You're the best. Oh, that was a lot easier than I expected. Nope. Yes, my love? Okay, without further ado, uh, here we go. Our story of Atlantis. Out of the dim past, old memories come to me, from where the light in all its glory seems to be, as the people worshipped near the sun's resplendent rays, and lotus crowned hailed with the joy of festal days. Golden lyres sending forth rich, harmonious strains, and sounding the keynotes which over the world still reigned. High above all, the vestal's song enchanting soars, mingling with the ripples on the wave-washed shores. From the temple floats the bell's melodious chimes, so deep and mellow in that old Atlantean time. Throughout the ages linger these old memories still, and hover around me with no effort of my will. Still, and my heart is throbbing with the rhythm of the waves, those slumbering waves which, alas, became our graves. Again, I hear the glad hosannas to the sun arise. Isis in the sanctuary is veiled from human eyes, which read no warning in the sky's celestial hue, nor heard it murmured in the ocean calm and blue. Neither listened to the whispering wind so free, telling of the doom fair Atlantis was to see. I am thankful that the gates of memory ope, that great angels weave the scattered threads of hope, and clothe us freshly with its robes of snowy white, while on our altar shines again the mystic light. The radiant star, which once over Egypt shone, glimmers once again with a message all of its own. Humble though the temple, the melody is there. The bell's sweet chiming breaks upon the silent air, and amid the incense rising from our sacred shrine, old Atlantean glories round our spirits twine. Coup. It was short and sweet. Short and sweet. The book is 200 pages long, and I'm stoked to get it started. We'll probably start, what's today? Saturday? We got to do some things today. But I was stoked to find the website, so I wanted to send it with you guys for a little video. To build some anticipation, there's 2 books on Atlantis that we're going to be reading, and I'm super excited. This one, I mean, gets right into Teotihuacan, talking about Mexico. The continent of Atlantis was bigger than Africa and Asia combined, which I sort of lends credence to that idea, or the, what do you call it, the bubble. I saw this new model of Earth. You got flat Earth, you have hollow Earth, you have the donut Earth, you've got the regular sphere Earth, and then this most recent one I saw was a sphere Earth that was like 90% covered in ice. That's about as big as Jupiter. And you have Earth-sized pockets of life separated by endless, vast expanses of ice. And I just read that yesterday, and I read this, and I thought, where the fuck, if it's bigger than Asia and Africa combined, maybe it would lend some credence to that. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there because I came across it yesterday and it was super interesting. So the chapter 2, it says there's yet a, hold on, let me see. Usually they have flowery introductions that might pull some strings on you guys, if you know what I mean. Ooh, it actually opens with a poem. The Lost Atlantis. Should we read the other poem? Jada Jim says the sound is fine. Richie says turn it up. To be fair, what sounds fine to you and I, you guys, sounds way different to Richie. He's a sound audio engineer, so I'm sure he agrees that it sounds great, but he probably hears something and he's like, but it could be better. So thank you, Richie. And thank you, Jaded Gems, for leaving your input as well. Who's in the room? Why did you guys, there's 18 people watching. Why did you click on this video? I want to know. I need to start doing some market research. Are you guys bored? You guys like the topic of Atlantis? You guys like hermetic gifts? Because we can do hermetic gifts. You just like staring at my face. I feel like the side view makes me look Jewish almost. I have like this beard and my hair is tucked back, but I have this lock coming off my sideburn. Okay, so reading voice is different than sound voice. So I'll crank it up a little bit, Richie, and we can run the first poem. Also, if you're new, introduce yourself, you guys. We like making friends on this channel. How did you find us? What do you do for a living? How did you get here? Even if you're not new and you haven't shared before, like take your shoes off, stay a while, man, make yourself comfy. Christian, I clicked on because I saw Atlantis. Ooh, I had a dream the other night. See, this is the shit I'm talking about. You had a dream about Atlantis the other night? That's relevant. I haven't necessarily been dreaming about Atlantis, but it comes to mind, at least a few times a month. Maybe this is cosmic sphere. We're all in the same sphere with Atlantis, you know what I mean? Says, I was just talking about Atlantis on Discord, so that's why I'm here. I saw the title and felt the sync. Dope. Well, then I'll read the first poem too. Glad you guys found your way here. Caleb J got the notification on YouTube. What up? Notification squad. Hashtag. I love hermetic gifts. Getting really into Hebrew recently. Okay, so check this. Before I read the poem, I read something that I thought you guys might like. I was scanning the book before I wanted to make the decision on whether or not this was going to be our next book. And one of the paragraphs mentioned how these Gentile men, I believe this was published in 1903, were saying that this time period is seeing a resurgence of Atlantean souls more than any other time. Based on what? Who knows? But I thought it was interesting to mention. Also, I noticed that it ties Lemuria, Mu, and Atlantis sort of all together. And I know that today that doesn't happen a lot. I believe the reigning model is first was Mu / Lemuria out in the Pacific, seeded Atlantis. Atlantis started to thrive. Mu / Lemuria was destroyed. Atlantis carried on the torch and then was destroyed. Again, as you guys know, I really love reading these old books because it's nice to sort of come across I wouldn't even call this original because I don't know when the first writings of it. Actually, Plato wrote about Atlantis 2,300 years ago. So 1903 is hardly an original source, but it is closer than now. And as you guys know, with how easy it is to put up information on the internet, which is a good thing, it's hard to discern what is, a genuine or well-researched or well-thought-out bit of information. You know what I mean? Someone writing a book in 1903 to do research had to hit the libraries. You know what I mean? Had to go to the universities. Had to like do some serious groundwork, which meant, it was just, in my humble opinion, it seems like when you're putting that much energy into researching a topic to write a book on it like this, that you're digging deeper and you're coming across sources that most people aren't coming across. Whereas with the internet now, you type in Atlantis into Google, a million people type in Atlantis into Google, they're all going to get the same feed, as compared to someone researching Atlantis in Mexico City, compared to France, compared to California in 1903. Like, God knows what kind of information you're going to come across, what kind of vaults you can stumble across. It's a different world. And at the very least, I find it more interesting. I happen to like the early 1900 time period, as far as archaeology goes. Maybe the sense of adventure was a little more real, or discovery was it seemed like a bigger deal back then. Anywho, point being, I'm excited to read this book because we get to learn about Atlantis as written from an occultist in 1903. I mean, really written in the 1800s and probably published in 1903. I believe, I would say at least a decade of time went into this somewhere I was reading in there. So it's cool. It's cool. Let me see how long this poem is real quick, if I even want to look at your comments before digging in and respond to something, or this half a page to it's pretty short. I'm going to read the poem. Our Story of Atlantis, Chapter 1, The Lost Atlantis. So it says, I'll turn it up a little bit for the reading voice. Fair Atlantis, peerless country, lulled within the ocean's arms, lying beautiful and shining far beneath the storm's alarms. Never has a plague come near thee. In thy halls were love and ease. Now above thee, lost Atlantis, roll the ever restless seas. And those histories, half tradition, with their mythical thread of gold, we shall find the name and story of thy cities fair and old. Dreaming bard has told in fancy, wandering minstrel sung of thee. Now above thee, lost Atlantis, rolls the ever restless sea. Every heart has such a country. Some Atlantis loved and lost, whereupon the gleaming sandbars, once life's fitful ocean tossed. Mighty cities rose in splendor, love was monarch of that clime. Now, above that lost Atlantis, rolls the restless sea of time. Happy he who, looking backward from a life of larger scope, deems a youthful idle fancy his lost continent of hope. Or by lights of love and gladness find the present home sublime, glad that over his Atlantis rolls the restless sea of time. That's the whole poem, by the way, but that seems more like a riddle. I've always liked that. One of my favorite, I was taken, when I went to San Francisco University, I was studying creative writing, and the thing I loved most about poetry is it seemed as if poetry is just riddles, or not it's just riddles, but it can be. My favorite way to approach poetry was to basically write a riddle. I was like, all right, how can I describe this doorknob tastefully, eloquently, and never actually use the word doorknob? And so you're basically writing what a riddle is, what a poem is. This specifically like it mentions like the last paragraph, happy he who looking backward, right? So is finding Atlantis, do you have to look, is it something that can only be found looking backwards? What else can you only find by looking backwards, right? That's how we can figure out the riddle. From a life of larger scope, deems a youthful idle fancy his lost continent of hope, or by lights of love and gladness find the present home sublime. And then here's the interesting thing. It says, glad that over his Atlantis rolls the restless sea of time. Why would one be glad that the seas are rolling over Atlantis? Because Atlantis sunk. So every stanza in the poem ends with, now above over the lost Atlantis rolls the ever restless sea. Could we find a clue in the poem to the origin, to the location of Atlantis? I mean, it doesn't really matter where it is. It's under the ocean, unless it's not. Unless it's inside the earth. What up? Shout out. Christian, I love your thumbnail, by the way. I'm not sure why, but so spare me a moment, you guys. Pour some water, pour some tea. It's a Saturday morning over here. Stretch. I'm going to read your guys' comments and keep up because I like interacting with y'all. Cosmic Sapphire. That's a dope name. Make this. Let me send it. I love from my guys. A memory of Atlantis. Well, Christian, hopefully you're curious if how you feel about the rolling waves over your old town. Thanks, Alfonso. Cosmic Gene, I always enjoy your lives, always soothing, appeasing, and elevating. Dope! Happy to hear that. Thanks, Cosmic Gene. I'm looking over here because my monitor's over here, if you're curious what the hell I'm doing. Christian starts his comment off with, I know this is a little dark. You have my attention. But it was a very powerful and moving dream vision that I had. I saw a man hit what must have been some sort of self-destruct button in a laboratory where I saw many crystals that were rigged up to a laboratory machine. Heavy-duty tech. Nice. I was speaking with a giant. I don't know what I was trying to communicate with him, but it didn't work. I know that much. I couldn't get through to him. It was as if he was comatose. Then I was chased down by 3 souls dressed in hazmat suits with flamethrowers. What do you mean souls? Like disembodied souls? Or what do you like, bodies? Why would you use souls instead of bodies? Curious. Trying to skim through yours and the other ones. That's a cool dream, Christian. Have I heard of Shambhala? Yes, apparently Shambhala is underneath Mount Shasta. Jaded Gems, you and Christian are gonna have to link up and share that dream/story, because I wrote a story about Arcturus that came forward 15 years and blew me out of the fucking water. Speaking of oceans and whatnot, it's the Atlantis, the Arcturus story I have on my YouTube channel. It's pretty wild, but if there's something wrong with it, share it. If there's something wrong, if you guys are finding synchronicities with each other, it is not without reason. A woman made of crystals was trapped in a laboratory and hooked up to these machines. Holy shit, dude, yeah, what? Yeah, you guys, please expand on that with each other. Whoa, I'm continuing this read between Jaded Gems and Christian. Fire from the thaumaturgy I've been busy too. All of you guys, sorry for not coming live so often. I've definitely been busy. Um, I love the emphasis on Atlantis being under the sea. Same, same. Jaded, that dream you had, and Christian, that dream you guys have is spectacular. I'm loving it. That's so cool. Um, oh man, this is. So, Mike, better? Sweet, thanks. Thanks for the update. I don't know what happened. They don't like us talking about Atlantis, apparently. Um, yeah, Jaded Gems. Fans is something extremely important. I was listening to a song this morning and it talked about um, helping to keep your feet on the ground. Damn it, I keep bumping my desk. I think that's what's ruining the mic. Jada Gem said, the poem reminded me of something I saw today about the tree of life and seeking the fruit of the knowledge of another universe without blossoming to the point of growing our own fruits. And this has been my quarrel with spirituality from day one, is that there's not much talk of anchoring the paradise into this realm. It's all about ascension. It's all about getting to 4 or 5D. It's all about, or this plane sucks. It's all about, I need to find knowledge of how to leave this place and get somewhere else. Not that those are bad things, like 100%, I'm super down. But to your point, Jaded Gems, everyone's trying to find, the fruit of the tree of another universe. And it's like, yo, our universe has beautiful fruit too. It's got terrifying and horrifying fruit, but it's also got beautiful fruit. Just like every other universe. I'm sure if you find the fruit of another universe, it's going to have its own demons and darkness. It's kind of like, you think, remember that book Narnia, and the kids go through the wardrobe into Narnia, into this other world, and they think, oh my God, there's talking animals and this lion and magic is real. And it's just, they found the fruit. They found the fruit of the universe that they were looking for. But that universe was also tainted by goblins and villains and people getting killed and the dark ice witch. And it's like, look, everywhere you go is going to have the same sort of problems to varying degree. But like, why not grow the Eden where you're at? I don't know. Just throw it around. Just throw it out there. Just throwing it out there. Good addition to conversation, Jaded Gems. Good addition, much appreciated. Also, Christian, your dreams similarities to the fellow squad members is uncanny at best. You guys should explore that more. I want to see what comes of it. Exchange notes, please. Exchange notes. A really weird dream last night about shooting obsidian orbs into the mouths of these dark entities that were students in a school, and I was their teacher. Whoa, that's gangster. That's super cool. Their eyes turned red and they started chasing me. It's okay, Mademoiselle Asphodel. I had a weird dream last night too. I had a dream last night that I was in a dinosaur park where the dinosaurs had been released from their cages, and We were having a tough time escaping the dinosaurs, but there was a tram that ran through the dinosaur park with single carts, and it was like a half roller coaster, half tram. Like, it didn't go very fast, but it went up through trees and it went like up and down through hill, went through tunnels and stuff like that. And so I thought to myself, this is dope, and it has high points, but it also goes really slow and it's low to the ground at points. But we had no other options. So there's 4 or 5 of us. We jump inside of these carts, and it takes us into a cave. And one of the people in the cart goes, there were human bones in the mouth of that dead dinosaur back there. And I thought, great, we're headed into the cave of spookiness. And we go into the cave, and there's little baby velociraptors, and I'm wrangling the velociraptors in the darkness as they're coming at me. It wasn't scary. It was more like entertaining. It was more like I was watching a cool dinosaur movie. We were going up to the canopies of trees at some points, or skirting next to the desert floor at different points, and knowing that the dinosaurs could be there at any moment. It was kind of exciting / scary. But I feel like Adam and Eve were MK Ultra'd. Jaded. That's funny. Adam and Eve. You guys should just read the Sumerian manuscripts before reading the Bible. I would read the Sumerian manuscripts first. I would start as old as you could. You go Assyrian, Babylonian, if such thing, Akkadian, if such things even exist. The Tanakh, even before the Christian Bible. And then I would read the Christian Bible way, the Egyptian stuff way last. All those stories are jacked. The symbols are jacked. The stories are jacked. The Great Flood and the Deluge were jacked. The gods were jacked. Who knows what's going on with MK Ultra and Adam and Eve? You guys, who knows? All right. Maybe they were velociraptors. Oh my God. Dude, Chuck, you win the internet today, mademoiselle. You win the pun. You win the internet pun today. That was amazing. They're velociraptors. Great timing on that. I wonder why I'm yawning so much right now. Okay, greetings, Pooh Kitten. As I'm about to, for those of you checking in, we've been reading poems from a book published in 1903, titled Our Story of Atlantis, written down for the Hermetic Brotherhood. Of thy cities fair and old, dreaming bard has told in fancy. Wandering minstrel sung of thee. Now above thee, lost Atlantis, rolls the ever restless sea. Every heart has such a country, some Atlantis loved and lost, where upon the gleaming sandbars one life's fitful ocean tossed. Mighty cities rose in splendor, love was monarch of that clime. Love was monarch of that clime. Interesting. But now, above that lost Atlantis rolls the restless sea of time. So the poem's kind of claiming that Atlantis rose from love. It says monarch. So your monarch, the monarchy is the ruling class, but it says love was monarch. The ruling class was love. Of that climb, their climb was made possible through love. But now above that lost Atlantis rolls the restless sea of time. Whoa. The Sumerian manuscripts are Marduk and Tiamat. Tiamat for sure. Marduk probably. I've seen Marduk tied with a bunch of different cultures. Tiamat as well, but Tiamat I know for sure was in the Sumerian transcripts. Yeah. What is the way time is made real in our minds? Question mark. Time is. People love to say that time is an illusion. It's people's favorite thing to say is that time is an illusion. While it is an illusion, time is as much of an illusion as anything else. What is real is something that's unchanging. If it's one thing at one moment and changes things to another moment, then it's an illusion. Here and then not here. Here sort of, but also not here. Which is why they say that everything is an illusion. But because everything is an illusion, that's all real, relatively speaking. That's how we get the paradox. That's how we get the both is and isn't at the same time. Meaning it's all meaningful. Time, a more accurate description of time would be not it's an illusion, but that time is the thing that holds events separate. You have access to the Akashic records, for example, or you have access to the human subconscious mind, for example, through your dreams and meditation and stuff like that. Well, to have this sort of experience, it's separate, but you can have this illusion of experience. I can be, and you can be Mademoiselle Lasfidel, so that Carlo J can have a coffee this morning, so that Suran Williams can type hello. For us all to be individuals doing our own things, we must be separated by something. That separation is ego. Or time is a different sort of separation of events, so that we can do things. So I can come back here and the reason. So check this out. Look at that. Just so you guys know, I am a telemarketer cashier. So, just like you go divide the number in two in half to infinity. I watch. So you say 12. 12 divided by 2 is what? Does the sound still suck? Running in? So here's 6. So we'll divide it in 2. 3. Divide it into 1.5. 1.75. And you can just keep going ad infinitum, and you can just divide to infinity. Like you can always, and this is how existence works. This is how this is the universe. It's infinite. It's infinite because we are in a mind, and mind is infinite. So when you say there's only 9 dimensions, I say, says fucking who? Like there's an infinite amount of dimensions. You think this is the bottom tier? Fuck no, it gets infinite lower, it gets infinitely higher.
until we all decide to bring us all back into source.
I might have fixed it. We might have cured it. How does this sound now? Trippy. How is this? Waiting. Sitting, waiting, wishing. How does it sound, Squadron? Better? Cool. Happy to hear it. Glad. Thanks for you guys are just tuning in. We've been talking Atlantis. We've been reading poems and trying to decipher Atlantean things, talking about time. It's funny that we talk about time because in the Emerald Tablets right before the chapter on Atlantis, he talks about the key of time being, and that's where I've gotten the idea from the Emerald Tablets about time being the thing that keeps all events separate. The thing that keeps all events separate. And this is what I don't. But the piano, can you guys see the piano in the back? Yeah, you can. So the reason why we can play music is because there's a separation of sound. So people love to give criticisms on separation, on duality, on it's all an illusion, or there's no such thing as time, or we must all transcend and become one thing again. Like that's more like that's your, may I even dare say, that's your fear of this world. But if you can see this world as a video game or a playground or just a universe in which you can build and create to your heart's desire, and realize that you're not going to be here for very long. You might visit a million different worlds like this, like chill out. You can, like, it's like you're on a camping trip and all you can think about is, oh, I want to be in the comfort of my own bed and I want a warm shower. It's like, chill the fuck out. You're in the woods, like it's a little rough out there. Enjoy yourself, but that's where you're learning. That's where you're discovering things. That's where you're pushed to the brink of sanity, and it's where you really develop as a character, as a person. Without the separation, without the angst, without that, you wouldn't be able to. For example, we're going to play some piano right now. For example, can you see? Can you guys see? Maybe we can let this be a sort of lesson. Pull this up so I can see what the hell is going on. Jaded, I see your comment. Fear is a super low vibration. I would suspend that thought for a little bit because fear keeps us alive. Still high from last night. This is the C scale, right? It's the C scale on the piano, separated from the rest of the notes. So you can say, there's your C major scale. Sounds great. Here's your C blues scale. Right, and here's a pentatonic C. Here's the pentatonic and the blues scale at the same time. Blues. Back to the major scale. The only reason I was able to play that fucking beautifulness is because of separation. So here's a good example. There's 88 keys on that piano. And I can make a million different, I can make an infinite amount of music, of sound. Maybe not an infinite, but a huge amount of music. Ungodly amount of music with that. When people say, I want to get rid of duality, what they're saying is they want to take all 88 keys, which are separated from each other, and create one key. Now, could I have played all that music with one fucking key in the piano? No, that'd be ridiculous. It's like, there's my music. Oh, wonderful music. Maybe a bit faster. Or slower. Or like triplets. But it's boring as fuck with one key. This is why separation exists, you guys. I've been trying to hammer this idea into people for fucking ever, but no one wants to listen to me. When you take away separation, when you take away duality, you get oneness, which is source. We all come from that all. But you think the all is trying to make music with one fucking key? Like, no, that's why there's an infinite amount of realities. That's why the ego exists. That's why you are different from me, so that you and I can make a sort of musical harmony together based off of our lives. This is why you can't get rid of duality. It doesn't matter if you're in the fifth dimension, the sixth dimension, the seventh dimension. Like you can only call it the sixth dimension because you're different from the fifth dimension. So you can't say, oh, oneness exists in the fourth dimension. Okay, well then it's not the fourth dimension, because to call it the fourth dimension is to define it as not the third dimension, which means you are not oneness, because to be oneness you have to be everything. So like time is an illusion. Like that, this is sort of the same thing. Right? These keys are holding frequencies in different time spaces. I mean, there's a frequency to C. It's actually the frequency of middle C is 440 hertz in today's music. Before World War II, C used to be 432, which is the God number. It's the resonance number. There's a whole conspiracy why they changed music to 440 hertz, and that's what they mean. C, middle C used to be 440 hertz, or 432, now it's 440, which is a bit higher. So what that means is the pitch is slightly higher than what it used to be. Yeah, so that's quite the rant. Quite the rant, sorry. There's no time in heaven. Probably not. Or I wouldn't say that there's no time. I would say time is distorted. It's kind of like a black hole. The closer you get to a black hole, the more time slows down for you relative to people who are further away from the black hole. Einstein's theory of relativity. As you approach the speed of light, time slows down. So that's the illusionary state of time, that it can be manipulated, that it can be there one moment and not there the next, that it can be moving quicker for you than it is for me if you're close to a black hole. Like that's that you can be in heaven and there be no time at all, or you can be on psychedelics and you feel like you were somewhere for a week, and in reality you were gone in this plane for 15 minutes. Yeah. So well said. There is no time in heaven. Whose heaven? My heaven, your heaven, the heaven from the Bible, the objective heaven that exists independent of what the literature says on it and how it actually is, or just your idea of heaven, you know what I mean? Like, what heaven are you talking about? Sorry, Jada Jam, we got your thing held up. Hello, Yesenia, how's it going? Oh, you guys are just waking up. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you for dropping Saturn, Jaded. 808, Yesenia, what up? Wait, where'd you see 808 at? That's my number. Professor Keith. Okay, what about the time evil came into heaven? Like before angels was created. You gotta be more specific, Michael. What about the time evil came into heaven? It's a vague question. I could spitball off of that, but I'm not sure if it's the answer you're looking for. Like, are you referring to the Jewish God, the Christian God, which are distinctly two different people, or Jesus's God? And what do you mean when evil came into heaven, like before the angels? Are you talking like Lucifer and stuff like that? Because OG Lucifer wasn't evil at all. So I would say evil was birthed in heaven and then became corrupt in heaven and then was cast out of heaven, which is a curious idea, because if heaven is heaven, how can something become corrupt in an incorruptible place, like Lucifer / Satan and his fallen angels? They were in heaven, they were born in heaven, they got mad at God for humans and earthly stuff, revolted against God, got cast out of heaven. So interesting that heaven is a place that breeds evil, as per the Bible itself. So I don't know what your question is, Michael, but it brings up some good ideas. Was there really a character in Flintstone named 88 Fingers? Thank you, Cosmic. Holographic. Music and poetry cannot be separated from anything in our dimension. Ooh, well said. I would love to play devil's advocate to that, but I don't want to because I like it. Hope you guys are doing good. Glad to see everyone. What's up? Welcome everyone, the 20 people in the squad. If you're new, introduce yourself. How did you find yourself? And if you're not new, what drew you into the video? We're doing some market research here. Do you like Atlantean? Do you like poetry? Do you like hermetic gifts? Do you just like memories in general? Were you bored as fuck? What's going on, you guys? Pretty soon, most music will be 432. A lot of artists will release music 432 still. They just, you can't tell on a conscious level unless you've got the ear of a god or the senses of a god.
But supposedly it is. Have you seen when I forgot the name of the device, but they put sand on a speaker, vibrate the speaker to a certain frequency, and that frequency makes a shape that changes depending on the frequency. That's the idea behind music being 432 hertz, is that 432 is the natural resonance of the planet. And when you change it to 440, it sort of causes a cognitive dissonance. It's like you're trying to listen to reggae music, and your neighbor's bumping like death metal. Now, I'm sure death metal is great in and of itself for what it is, but when the two vibrations go into each other and start to mesh, it's fucking chaos. And depending upon which philosophy you follow, that's what's happening when they change the music. So all orchestral tuning, it's fucking weird. Why would you even change that? Don't get me started. They were just like, hey, we're going to change all orchestral tuning across the planet to middle C. Oh no, I'm sorry, I kept calling it C. It was middle A. It's A above middle C. So the A notes. That A note right now is at 440 hertz. Used to be 432. Changed it for God knows what reason. And it seems like an awfully huge leap to make worldwide for no clear reason. Can you imagine how difficult that would be? You have to change all the instruments. If the instruments need to be built differently, the tuning needs to be different. The pianos, the harpsichords, the fucking horned instruments that you can't even change once you make it. Like you can't it's not like you can retune a saxophone. You got to melt that bitch down and redo it to equal the A equals 440. So we're talking massive amounts of manpower, human power, woman power to change a whole war. The whole world changed. At least everyone that uses the 8-note scale. The Middle Eastern people, like the Middle Eastern flutes and shit, don't use our scale at all. I'm not even sure what they use. So when you hear the Middle Eastern totally different scale. So each of the cultures around the world, they roll differently, they rock differently. It just happens to be that the most prevalent westernized music, which seemingly took over the world, are the ones that changed the scale to what it is currently from hundreds of years. Go figure. I gotta get going though, you guys. We gotta take off. I know it's already 11:30, but thanks for staying and chatting. We're gonna start our next book on Atlantis. Sorry, it's been months since I finished our last reading by candlelight books, but we're gonna crank them up again. And I'm super excited for it. It's gonna be fun. Technically, we're all. Why are you not charging? One of you guys said technically we're all evil, and that's well said. That's out of the Cabal talks about that. The definition, the best definition for evil that I found is something that has been cut off from oneness. But it's like, again, like the piano, because source is pure source. That the origin of all things is like home, is heaven. It's God, whatever you want to call it, the all, the force, fucking whatever, energy, whatever, spirit. And then once you start fragmenting that thing, You have to give it an ego. You have to give it the illusion of separation, and that's the evil. That's the fall of man. That's the piano. The piano's been separated into individual pieces. So technically, it's like a type of evil because it's cut off from source, which becomes corrupt over time, I think. Or it's yeah. I thought you were going to recite some poetry. Should I have? All right, you guys. Cool. All right. Well, you guys take it easy. Thanks for being here. And I'll see you in the next video. All right. Peace out.